positioning is another one of those words that has been so wildly misused, it's sort of lost its original meaning. And that original meaning is actually really important for marketing success. The powerful concept of positioning was well defined long before the invention of the internet by two guys named Al Ries and Jack Trout. Called Positioning: The Battle for Your Mind, Ries and Trout literally wrote the book on the concept. Imagine a product or a service category as ladders. And on the rung of each ladder is a competitor. The market leader sits on the top of the ladder. I'll tell you how they got there and how they stay there in a minute. So let's look at a great example from the book that illustrates this concept, okay? The product category is cola drinks. So which company resides at the top? I'll give you a minute. If you said Coke, you're right. Coke is at the top of the category ladder. So who's number 2? Pepsi, exactly. So who's number 3? Who cares? Coca-Cola has historically had more market share than Pepsi in the cola drinks category because they were first. They introduced the product in the late 1800s. They had an addictive substance in there, which always helps any product launch. But being first in a category almost always assures that you keep your seat at the top. So Coca-Cola was selling about 1 million cans of Coke a year when Pepsi stepped up to the market. The entire game of positioning happens in the mind of the marketplace. When somebody says cola drink, the majority of people say Coke. It's what first comes to their mind. Coke owns the cola drink position in people's minds. Even though Pepsi has built a very profitable empire being number 2, Coke has historically dominated Pepsi in terms of market share of cola drinks. So let's say we wanted to get into the soda business, and actually in 1929, an enterprising young lad named Charlie Grigg did exactly that. He had a mean soda recipe. In fact, it was called Bib Label Lithionated Lemon Lime Soda, which is very catchy. It also contained a mood stabilizing drug until 1950, so he got that part right. But he launched the company 2 weeks before the stock market crashed, so not good there. Charlie was probably not a business genius, but he understood positioning, and he leveraged it to make Bib Label Lithiated Lemon Lime Soda a household name. So instead of making a cola-based dark soda, he made a clear lemon lime soda, thus defining a new category, lemon and lime sodas. And by 1969, 7-Up was a household name. But what resonates with me is their taglines. So Coke's tagline is the real thing. Some would call that a positioning statement. 7-Up's is the uncola. Literally, we're not that. So positioning is always relative to your competition. Your position, defined in your prospects and your customers' minds, is the concept that you own that is different from competing offers. Your positioning strategy is not a collection of things you do, it's a mindset of being different. I used to photograph using this crazy stuff called film. Before digital photography, Kodak dominated film and camera sales in the United States, with peak revenue hitting almost $16 billion in 1996. Their familiar yellow and red logo is considered one of the world's most powerful brands. From a marketing perspective, to me, the concept of positioning is as evident as a core product strategy as it is a marketing communication strategy. Kodak was a really strong performer in the category of professional portrait films, where you want really rich warm tones, reds and yellows. When Fujifilm entered the American professional film market, they knew it would be really difficult to challenge Kodak on the portrait film ladder. So Fujifilm emphasized cooler tones, greens and blues. So when we would photograph lush outdoor scenes, we would use Fuji. And when we photographed people, we would use Kodak. Fuji created the new category of professional landscape films. Note the corporate colors of Kodak and Fuji. Positioning goes right to the core of the product and the brand. In order to get your positioning strategy right, you need to understand how your competitors are framing their offerings in relation to yours. What concept do they own? What concept can you own? The key is to find a territory that is unclaimed in the market that you can deliver on, and also that is valuable to your audience. So I've seen very few small and mid-sized businesses consciously lever the power of positioning. So what did we learn? We learned that in order to carve out a position, you need to know what the competition is doing. We also learned that being different and being first are a great combination. We found out that a lot of people were on drugs in the early 1900s. And finally, we learned that using the word lithiated in a product name is simply just bad judgment.